There we go.
Yeah, happy Easter Monday.
Yeah. uh, nice little time off, time with the fam. We made a nice little roast on this a lamb on the spit. It was good. We had a good time. A bunch of people came over. Always a good time in the Greek families at this time of year.
Yeah, it's Easter Monday. I think it's probably because it's not a public holiday in US, but I think it is in Canada, right?
Yeah, I think we're off. We're off today. I'm always off on Mondays, so I always get confused with the Mondays that are off. But I think everything's closed today, so it must be
Yeah, I
no
just
off
looked it
day
up. It's
for
not a
us.
federal holiday in US, but it is in Canada. Some other countries.
Yeah, so it's not an off day, but I guess it depends. I know government offices and stuff are closed today, but not everything, I guess. Uh, but yeah, it always confuses me too.
I already learned something new, so show just started.
As long as if people get a day off, it's always a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
uh, we took an extra day off yesterday on Sunday. Because usually we work on Sundays at the restaurant, right? But yesterday we closed because it was Easter and we wanted to have a party at the house. My dad looks at me. He's like, "Do we work tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, bro. It's Monday." He's like, "Oh, okay, good, good, good." I guess he was feeling it. He really needed that extra day off.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah, he asked his boss if we're working. Me. Yeah, it's been good, man. It's been good. And now the playoffs started. Good times. We're gonna have a good little spring here.
Yep.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, it's starting to get warmer here. I think we get 70s and sunny today. Which is yeah. I guess you're in Canada. I don't know what the fucking conversion is, but
I get the gist of it.
it's nice. Yeah.
Well, it's 10 degrees here. Haha. Like we're in 15 Celsius. But no, it's good. It's warming up a bit. We had a bit of a rough like beginning of spring. It was just always cold, rainy, snowy, like a couple of hot days here and there. But other than that, it's been really rough. So it's good to see that's kind of changing finally. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like a full homeowner now. I just planted a bunch of grass seed. I'm like thankful that it's raining. We got rain, so my grass seed would get watered. Like I don't
That's
know who I
sweet.
became, but I've
Yeah.
become.
It only took like a year or two. Now you're settled in. You got to do all the house stuff. It's funny. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I
It's
know.
another. It's something to do. It's okay. Got to take care of your homestead. uh, Too funny. All good, man. Let's take a look at these markets, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, like we just said, GM, everybody, welcome to Awaken Jake, where we cover just about everything in crypto and NFTs. Yeah, it was a nice little weekend off for most. Markets were a bit like dry over the weekend, but we did see a nice little pump here, on crypto at least. So that was fun to see, like a little bit of action when we were just not really paying attention. So yeah, Jake, what's up, man? How are you? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Good to see some green for sure. It's hard to trust it, that's for sure, with how the market's been. But it's at least it's better than red. So I'll take it. That's for sure. Um, yeah, I'm doing good. We're kind of getting close to kind of a key area here for Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. It's good that we're at least close. I'd say um, 90K is really it was the previous support, and since we broke down under it, it's became the resistance for price on a little bit of higher time frame charts here. Uh, we haven't gotten to 90K since like early March or so. But that's kind of a key area here. I'll just posted in voice hangout chat. Kind of what Don's thinking. His TA on his chart, he has like 90K 800 marked as his line. For reference on what is this? Oh yeah, the weekly chart.
Yeah, weekly.
Yeah, and he's if you click on it and you go into the tweet, he's replying to a previous tweet where he says 90K above 90K, and we full send as long as the White House chills a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also says generally if Trump walks his tariffs back, it looks like they've largely failed. Then he thinks it's a full send. Just in general, he's just been tweeting like as long as the White House like stops doing crazy shit, which is far from a guarantee. Then crypto is going to look pretty good. So, yeah, key area to 90K to watch for us. Until we get there, I'm personally not trying to go any type of crazy risk on environment. I'm not getting my hopes up. We are still largely in this range, but it's good that we're getting close.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's a good place to be. I'm happy we bounced like that. That chart looks really fucking good, actually. If you look at it weekly, the weekly chart looks great. We already
Yeah,
had
it
our
really
major
does.
dumps. Yeah, it looks great. I like anybody that does even a little bit of TA and looks at this, like, wow, it's primed. It's ready to go. As like you said though, as long as the White House doesn't throw us a curveball again, you know. But look, if we get the full 90-day pause that we talked about and no other like major news, then we should be okay for a little while and we'll see where we go from there. Hopefully we roll it into a good summer, which usually is very rare, but hopefully we roll into a good summer. And yeah, man, this is nice. It gave us something to be happy about on the weekend. Yeah, and you know, it's been even
Yeah.
on Myriad. I was on Myriad looking at like even just last week there was like a bet on if Bitcoin will hit or will stay above I think it was 85 or 83K on the 15th of April, let's say, right? And it was split 50-50. People still did it. I still weren't very confident in the market. It was very like up and down. People were not very like they were very indecisive about where the market was going to go. And I think now, if we checked again, obviously people would be like way a little bit more bullish since they saw we broke 85K and we held. But it like you said, everybody. There's a lot of people out there that are still very hesitant, and me too. Like I'm not gonna be full risk on yet. I'd like to see that we trended sideways for a while. It gave us opportunities in other assets like shit coins and stuff. Kind of had a bit of life. We talked about it last week.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be in this more comfortable range than just dumping, 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 and having one day up and then dumping again. I mean, this is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, even just like going sideways gives us opportunities in other areas. We feel like we see this a lot when price kind of stalls out a bit and there's not a lot of volatility on the majors that we see people kind of trickle down to these other assets, and just kind of have fun a little bit. We've seen it, and there's been some shit coins that have done decent. There's been some games that people have been playing that have been going well. So it's nice to see people experimenting a little bit. Before we transition, though, I did want to touch on ETH. I feel like there's a little bit of something to talk about here, even though ETH still is like underperforming, looking like shit. Two things. One was D Farmer, who I like a lot. Has made a lot of. I like that he makes a lot of public calls, and he's usually pretty accurate with them. He says here, this was yesterday, about 13 hours ago. He says, and now for my most spectacular and idiotic trick of the night, I'm a layer long ETH for the first time this year, and he's going to call the generational bottom on ETH. That's what he says. So he's bullish ETH, which has been has historically not worked for less like 2 years, 2 or 3 years now. So that's something. I don't know. It's hard to really get behind it until we actually see that E strength prolonged for any period of time. I wanted to mention. I want to mention that, and I think there's one thing that maybe could be different this time, and that I don't know if you guys seen this, but Vitalik released a new proposal basically for the Ethereum Foundation. Here, I'll link it in Voice Hangout as well. He basically he did this blog post suggesting that they replace the EVM with RISC-V, which look, I'm not some kind of crypto dev. I have no clue. I honestly don't know much about it, but I was reading into it. Essentially, what it's saying is it would act essentially more like a ZK L2 in that like it could increase the throughput of Ethereum on the execution layer by magnitudes of order is what this says. Increase the gas limit essentially, so you can get a lot more transactions in for a lot cheaper. Right now, it's saying it would be like 100,000x cheaper. Is what this is essentially what this tweet is saying. That would be on the L1, the main layer, and it would still be compatible. All the old EVM contracts and everything would still be compatible with this new layer. They wouldn't have to do anything from quick browsing to the blog post. So that would be. I mean, I would obviously think a pretty insanely huge upgrade for Ethereum itself. This is like a longer term horizon, though. Like, who knows? Like, if this is going to happen, it would have to get approved. And it would probably take years, but it's at least like a North Star that ETH can build towards to, and people can point to, kind of like how they used to with like the native staking stuff back in the day. If you remember how people were talking about it for so long before that actually went into effect. So maybe that can maybe that can help with sentiment in general on ETH, and sentiment usually, a price usually follows sentiment on these kind of things. So I want to at least point that out.
Yeah, I like that. It's a nice find. It's a step in the right direction, I guess. Like, just make L1 usable, and obviously they spent so much time kicking people to the L2s, which was the point. But now L1 is just dry. Nobody does anything on it. So maybe this will help us kind of find stability again and make people use it, and maybe it'll be good for the ETH price. This is good. We'll see. I still have some ETH. I'm always gonna have a little bit of ETH, but yeah, it's just like it's a little bit of a sad hold sometimes. That's okay. We have to be invested a little bit in ETH, but it's been pretty much a smaller portion of my portfolio this last cycle. But that can always change. Like, if I see news like this pop up and I see that people are receptive to it, it doesn't take much to just bridge back over. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it is like everyone who could have sold, I feel like, is sold by now. I mean, it's been years. Like, so maybe I feel like at some point we got to get like an ETH rally. I don't see how we don't. There just hasn't been one, and there's I mean, it just feels like sellers have to be exhausted at some point.
Yeah,
Since
I
it's
think
been
so
so
too.
bad for so long.
For a coin that basically took a whole cycle by storm, I don't think it's going to be gone. It's still a very important coin, probably one of the most important utility coins in all of crypto, and I don't think it's just going to disappear. There's a lot of people that are big on ETH, even though right now they're kind of down on it. I don't think a lot of us had our success there. We're not just going to abandon it forever. Is what I'm trying to say. But just like Bitcoin last cycle was kind of like flat, whatever. Nobody really cared about it. They jumped. Sorry about that. Came over to ETH and stuff. Well, next cycle might be the same. Maybe we'll see another resurgence for ETH after it stabilizes and does like creates new avenues for success. So yeah, I'm never counting it out. It's still firmly planted in second.
Yeah, I mean, people still use it, right? I mean, even if most of the use is now on L2s, like still people still use it as a modicum for transacting. So I mean, I use it still on a almost daily basis.
Same.
So you can
Yeah.
see it
If
coming back.
you Exactly. Even if you're using base, you're using ETH. Anything you're using that's EVM is ETH. It's just
Yeah,
like
ETH abstract,
yeah.
using ETH, right? Yeah.
It's just the fees are so low that the price doesn't move on ETH because people can hold all this ETH and not use it for anything except for just doing transactions like on L2s and maybe buying some stuff, but nobody's buying anything really right now. So what are you using it really to convert it into USDC to buy other stuff or it's not like it used to be. Obviously, it's not enough of it being burned, not enough of it being used, and yeah, but it's good. So it's a step in the right direction. That's what we need. We need actual development on L1, and Vitalik has taken a few hits lately to his like persona and to his creative genius side, where a lot of people started kind of like fading him a little bit. So it's good to see that he's got a really good plan right now. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully something can happen with it. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that's about all I had on macro stuff.
Same. I don't have anything on my end really. talk shitcoins?
Yeah, sure. We had some interesting stuff happen, I would say, last week. With the first thing that comes to mind is the base stuff. Base and Zora has been big in the headlines of crypto Twitter. Base, if anyone missed it, Base like tweeted out on their main account a Zora coin, which like everything on Zora is coins now. That like just said like basis for everything or whatever. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that was the first time they've actually tweeted out like a coin link or anything. So people went pretty crazy for it. It ran up to like 16 million or so. And then Base tweeted like another coin that was like a random. I don't even know what it was. It was like an event or something. Like I don't even know. Like an hour later. I'm not sure exactly what the time frame was. I wasn't there until after this happened. But I feel like it was only within like an hour or so. And then the coin dumped like crazy, down to like 1.5 million or so from peak, and everyone got, and like the chart just looked awful. It's just like this giant red candle on a coin that Base tweets out themselves. So it looked really bad on their front, and people were pissed. Everyone was flooding in chats. Yeah, thankfully I had a nice play on it because I wasn't there for it, so I didn't have like the emotion of getting super upset, and thankfully I missed like, because I think a lot of people got in, and they got pretty nice entries early on, but then it dumped and people weren't able to get out in time. But I like to play, and so I got in around like a little bit under around 2 million or so. It's because it was like maximum FUD on the timeline, and whenever you see that for stuff like this, I feel like it's usually a decent buy when everyone's talking about the same coin, and it's only like 2 million market cap. So then it ended up running all the way back up to new all time highs. I'm not really sure what it is at right now. I haven't checked in a while. So that was an interesting play. So basically, they've been heavily promoting. Also, that kind of what goes into this is they've been heavily promoting like this Zora stuff, which I'm sure most of you probably know what Zora is. But if you don't, it's like a platform where you can just launch like an image or maybe a video as well, and it like auto creates like a coin for it. It's on Base, or you can like do like a tweet or something, and the coin starts at like, I don't even know, like $10 market cap or something like that. So they've been really promoting this Zora coin. Jesse Pollock, who's like the main dude at Base, has been promoting it a ton. From his account, he's like the main Base influencer. He's like their product lead or something. He's been talking about it a bunch, and then now like Base tweets out their own. And then now we learn like yesterday, 2 days ago, Zora is about to do their TGE, and obviously Coinbase, investors in them. So now there's a big uproar that Base is just like trying to pump their own bags. So yeah, a lot going on. Any thoughts there, Jinzo, or anyone else?
Yeah, brilliant marketing ploy if you think about it. Like they just were able to get that much attention by just doing a shitcoin and talking about it, tweeting it out, and then obviously the thing rugs and Jesse gets on spaces and stuff and tries to recover his image, but he makes himself look like even more of a fool. But then they come out with like, obviously it runs back up, so people made money. Like you killed it with that. You made such a perfect dip buy on that, and I understood the reasoning. That was a really smart move. I actually would have done the same if I was on Base. I had nothing on Base at the time. I loved that play though, because everybody was talking about how down bad they were. Everybody was talking about how Base is now doing scams and stuff, and then it just flies right back up to all time high. So yeah, I kind of expected it to not hit all time high because I figured, oh, so many people are trapped in this coin that it's just gonna dump when it hits about like halfway there, let's say 8 mil or whatever. But it just kept going, man. It just really was beautiful to see. I'm sure if I check now, it's probably down again, but it was just a nice recovery. And the whole Zora stuff, in the end, it looked like a big marketing ploy because they were saying how now they can tokenize everything, right? And Jesse was stuck on it. Like he really was. Even if people were trashing him, he kept tweeting out things that he's like, "Oh look, I could tokenize this now, and I could tokenize that." And it confused me a little bit. I'm like, man, it's the first time I see him this aggressive about something. I figured usually he's more passive and he likes to shill stuff, yes, but he won't like get into it really with people. And then now I realized that it was all a marketing ploy. He had already made up his mind to talk about this incessantly until they dropped all the info for the TGE. And you can't really blame base. Like I would like them to stay. Um, I'd like them to stay like humble and like not do these things and maybe not play into like the DeFi areas too much or try to like scam for money because in the way they're basically using everybody for their token, right? Because the majority of Zora is going to go to insiders and it's going to go to base, and then they're hoping that we come and buy their bags. So that's kind of the bad side of it. But in a way, they have no choice to play this game because if you look around, everybody else is playing it. You have Binance that's doing weird stuff with shit coins and DeFi and trying to get people to, they're listing weirder coins and coins that they would never list before because they want that volume and market attention or just market share. And I think Base started to realize that they have no choice to do things like this because that's just what the game is now, right? So yeah, you can look at them and be like, oh man, bunch of scammers, this and that. But as a company, they need to get with the times. And right now, the times are you got to do some weird, shady, scammy shit to get ahead and to gain market shares. I understand why they did it. I'm not super okay with it, but I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just, I mean, largely, I don't have a problem with it because they are like, it's like their chain, right? So obviously they're going to promote shit on their own chain. So I get it. They want people coming over to their chain, so they're going to promote like the biggest products on their chain. So I think it's fine. Initially, they just want users, they want TVL, they want people to try out shit. Um, yeah, I would say my takeaway is just like look out for this Zora TG. It's supposed to be this month, so within the next. I mean, this month ends in like 10 days or whatever, 9 days.
Very soon, yeah, very soon. I'll keep
So,
an eye on it.
actually, no, I think it's I saw a Binance post on it. I'm pretty sure that it was like the 23rd they were gonna start listing it. Oh
So
yeah,
two
yeah, the
days.
23rd. Here it is. Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
2 days.
even on the Zora, it's there. Yeah, live on April 23rd.
Yeah, I think it's a 10% airdrop. So definitely look out for that. I'm sure um, a lot of us have minted on Zora in the past. Like I know they had like a bunch of free mints like right when base launched. So maybe check like a bunch of side wallets as well too, because you might have minted a bunch on different wallets to try and farm early on the base stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully it's decent. Who knows? I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's probably gonna be underwhelming because it's probably gonna be a ton of people that they give the airdrop to, not worth much. But um, yeah, we'll see. At least it's free money.
Yeah, I just
It was
listened.
unexpected. I wasn't really expecting a Zora airdrop um,
Same. I wasn't
when I was
expecting it.
doing Zora stuff. So the fact that they're promoting it a bunch, maybe it does decent early on.
I just posted the snapshot dates that they had. So yeah, for sure we're included in this. Like the first one was just such a long snapshot. It was from the January 1st, 2020 to March 3rd, 2025. So if you've touched Zora, you're gonna get something. It's just I I'm not like you said, Jake. I'm not expecting much. Not a big airdrop because probably thousands upon thousands of people minted a lot of stuff on this. So whatever, we'll see. I didn't use it that much, but so I'm not expecting a lot. But it's still nice. We'll see. We'll see what the Stimmy gives, especially if the circulating supply is gonna be small. They're holding a lot of it. I'm sure they're gonna have like unlocks that are a little longer than the airdrop. So hopefully that supports us a little bit. And I know like just base in general has a nice following, a decent little fan base. So yeah, we'll see. Want to keep an eye out. It's good. It gives us a little bit of life and it's something to look forward to. Even though I'm sure it's not going to be huge for us, it's still something that we're looking forward to this week. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I'll do a quick little post and non-time sensitive.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people
Um,
missed it. They were away for the weekend and stuff. So I'm sure I even in here it was kind of a little quiet this weekend more than usual because it was the holidays. So yeah, good idea.
I saw also speculation that OpenSea. I'm not sure that it says, but OpenSea airdrop might be soon. Their most recent thing they just did was added Solana trading. Um, So I would do. There's no speculation that they've been like giving like their crates or whatever for like these new features that they're dropping. So I would recommend at least doing like try to do a trade or two on Solana on OpenSea because you might get like an airdrop crate for it for a little bonus. So to shout that out. But I saw speculation. I don't know how true that this is like their last thing that they're implementing, and then they're gonna launch their token real soon. So maybe OpenSea in May would be a nice little stimmy. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Zach has a nice post on Zora. I'll post it to give people more of a rundown on what it is. Oh, sorry, wrong chat. There it is. He kind of gives the rundown on their little timeline. But yeah, Jesse. This cycle's biggest KOL. Like, yes. Speaking of base, we're gonna talk about Dungeons of Fortune a bit since we're on the base stuff. Obviously, a lot of us got in early. It was a nice little cook if we played it right. In our little chat, we even in our thread, we were even posting why like it could go wrong and stuff, and it actually went wrong much faster than anybody expected. But yeah, just to say that when Jesse posted about it, the coin went from like 0.03 to 0.15 instantly. So um, yeah, he's crazy. This guy. Anytime he touches something or posts about something, he just flies, and you got to use those as exits. But obviously, with a game like this, if you had used all your coins to rotate into your dungeons and stuff, you had nothing to sell. So it was kind of a tough spot to be in. And yeah, good props to MVHQ because we were on top of it. We were talking about how a lot of the mechanics and stuff didn't seem right. It didn't seem like they were burning enough tokens while we were playing. And I mean, we did a good job of talking about a lot of the red flags. It just came down much faster than people expected. We even had people in chat talk about how there was a seed round investment a year ago, and that they were getting unlocked. Like each seed investor had an unlock of over 35,000 tokens a day that they were just obviously dumping on the market. So because they wanted to get their money back, right? So there was a lot of sell pressure that we were not aware of unless we had someone in MVHU that told us about it. Because the seed round investment was not very big, and there was not that many people in it, so there was not a lot of people to talk about this. You know, we got lucky to have someone in there, and I'm guessing that saved a few people from holding this to zero. But um, other than that, yeah, it's just in a way it was nice to see. We got like a Ponzi that did all right, and that was a fun little Ponzi. But on the other hand, it just died so fast that there was nothing you can do really. I'm sure most people lost on this, and that's kind of sad because it looked good the first couple of days, and now it's just like meh. I'm playing it because I have coins, but I'm playing it also with a little bit of sadness, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that was a rough one. I was feeling real good about it, and then got burned. I know the pump happened when I was so upset. The pump happened when on like Friday night,
Yeah, late,
and
very
I was
late.
out on Friday night, and did not take advantage of it, and came back Saturday in the morning, and it dumped a bunch. I was like, oh, I'll just sell the pump after that, and
Under
it didn't
pumped.
ever really pump.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of people saw
super
that way.
unfortunate. I thought it'd last longer, like these other ones. I think my like takeaway learning from it is that like these kind of Ponzi's. I mean, we've seen them so much with like crypto valleys, and like I don't know. There's obviously a lot of older ones like Wolf Game and um, what's the other one? Raid Party,
Oh yeah, Ray Party.
and
My
probably a
God, I
couple
lost so
others.
much on that. Yeah.
But I feel like with these type of Ponzi's, it's like whenever the attention is like high on the Twitter, like that's when you sell for sure. Um, and you kind of think even though like the tension was high like very soon, like that like the same day it came out, or maybe it was the next day. It was yeah, it was the same day it came out. Wait, no, 17th. Yeah, it was like the same day it came out. Was when it was the highest, but I feel like you kind of just have to sell when attention's high, when there's like big influencers posting about it and like posting their gains. Then it's like, all right, I'm gonna get out. And a lot of these Ponzi's, like they were kind of quiet early on, like Crypto Valleys and stuff. People were just playing them, but it was more of a slow build. Whereas this one was a lot of attention right away on the because they had like this big mint, um, and the big sellout and stuff all going on, and like Base talked about them, and yeah, that's just my general takeaways. To
Yeah,
hopefully not get burned later on is just sell when all the influencers start talking about them.
for sure. I think it's important to get your at least your initial out first day or two. And this one was just
Mm-hmm.
an exception because it really, really died fast. Like I think people expected it to go at least a week. But even if you look at Bitcoin, that one kind of threw people off too because Bitcoin that everybody was on a couple weeks ago or whatever, it did well. It did well for the first day and it pumped, but everybody thought, oh, okay, this is a nice enough pump to sell into, and then it did another 10x from there. So it's dependent, but you should always stay consistent and be like, okay, yeah, I already made a good little profit here or whatever. Let me take out my initial and ride the rest. Or there's going to be so many Ponzi's even in the future that you can't go in it thinking to play the long game because also as time goes on, people have gotten burned. We're not the only ones getting burned. Others have gotten burned by these games, and they'll be thinking the same thing. They'll be like, "I'm never doing this again," and they'll want to sell. So it becomes a speed game of who can teach who can get in earliest and who can get their initial out fastest, and it's always
Yeah,
gonna bring down these games. So don't get overly bullish. Don't think that your game is gonna last years. It's not. It's not even gonna last weeks. Honestly, most of them are just gonna die very fast. So as time goes on, just remember that you need to be in and out. And if you really want to play and have fun, you're in love with this game, well, make sure you're at least doing it for free because it's not fun having to reinvest all the time and you know what I mean? Like just Bitcoin, for example, it's literally it's identical to Bitcoin, just on web browser, right? So you're buying miners and you're creating coins, but the thing is, the hash rate is going up so fast that your miners are becoming obsolete, kind of like in the real world, what happens with hash rate and stuff, right? When you're mining Bitcoin,
hmm
but it's happening so much faster in this game. So little minnows are getting eaten alive, and the big whales are having to reinvest thousands of dollars to stay active. And yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe if they find utility for this token and make it happen and keep getting boosts by the abstract team, it can do well, especially when it starts halving and stuff. Because it is a coin in the end, right? They might use this coin for different things. It's just an innovative way of creating a coin. So if you just not look at the mining aspect of it, which is a game and it's gamified or whatever, and you just look at it as a coin, and if they end up doing something good as a coin, then the miners might be okay, especially the ones with big mining facilities, right? Virtual mining facilities. So I'm a little bit more bullish on actual Bitcoin because there's ways to keep the coin alive and to make it useful, right? Even G6 came to us this last week with an opportunity. He showed that there was an open an open edition mint going on for 20 or 48 hours. I mean, for this coin, and then I mean for this open edition NFT, and they were going to invest everything into miners. And they didn't mint that many. They minted like almost 500 of them, and they invested everything into miners, and they just started reinvesting, and soon they're going to start paying out my people that bought the NFT with whatever they make on the mine, and they're actually collecting like 3 or 4 thousand big a day now. So that's pretty cool because it cost barely anything, and the NFT itself, the open edition, since not many were minted, ran from I think it was 0.05. It's at 0.22 now. So right there is a cook. Even if you wanted to not get cash out, because obviously you don't know how much you're gonna get, you could just sell the NFT and make some money on the back of this game. But it's just nice to see it's a little bit like Wolf Game where a community is forming and people are wanting to use this coin for things and finding reasons to keep it alive. And the big whales are kind of working together to make this into something useful. So it's one to keep an eye on. I know a lot of people now the token went down and they're kind of like lost sight of it or whatever, but if it's getting harder and harder to make coins, and if whales are making most coins and they're actually reinvesting them, that maybe there's something that comes out of this in the end if utility comes out. So I'm not saying to invest into the game itself, but just keep an eye on it because I think this one might have a chance into the future, especially with how Abstract likes to back their good projects and likes to give them attention, kind of like with Base, but in a more structured way. So yeah, I'm still in. I'm still paying attention. Like I'm writing pretty much for free. I had bought the coin pretty low, and yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on it because I think I have like this inkling that something might come out of this, so I'm just keeping a close eye.
Okay. Yeah, it's a decent shot. I'm pretty. What's a Ponzi dies? I like kind of just forget about it and move on. I don't. I feel like it's rare that they actually come back. But maybe if you
Yeah,
can like time bottom and get like a dead cat bounce type thing.
yeah. The hardest thing with this one is it's dying slowly, slowly every day, right? And is it gonna get to the having and actually have an impact like Bitcoin did for actual Bitcoin? You know, like the having still 40 some odd days away. So is that gonna happen? That's the big question. And it might not because people are already getting such little rewards that they'll just forget about this coin, you know. So it'll really depend on if they have plans for it and what you can do with it, because it could just all be really, really useless in a month if nothing's done with it. So we'll see. I don't have much in there. I only have like a few $100 and like $500, and I'm just wanting to see if something comes out of it. Those NFTs though, I can sell them right now and make a 4x, so that's nice. G6 had a really good call on those.
Nice.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering anyone else in the crowd have anything about Ponzi's, about base, about shitcoins.
G6 is typing. G6 is not typing. Nice one on
Um.
Toronto yesterday, G6. Congrats, that was big. That's how you needed to start the playoffs. Yeah, let's see what he says, and then we'll talk about more abstract stuff. I'm not gonna ask you if you started. Yes, I am G6. I'm still holding all four. I haven't sold any yet, and they're doing good today. I don't know if I'm gonna hold because what he asked was, "Are you still holding big pool?" Yes, I am, but I don't know how long I'm gonna hold. I'm starting to get to the point where I might sell one or two, because the hash rate's going up so fast and the rewards are getting reduced very quickly. Where just mathing it out, thinking like the first payouts in a couple of weeks from them, and by then will it even be worth holding if the hash rate is increasing so fast and the rewards per miner is coming down? Maybe not. We'll see. Nice, good job, G6. Hope they sell. Hope one of them sells. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna ask you if you're in, Jake, because I know the answer is no. But abstract's been good. I've been having fun. Said it last week too. Cambria is a nice little game. I mean, I know you liked Cambria before. You'll love it now. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
been a
I'm
lot of
actually going.
fun.
I'm actually going to play Cambria. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask if anyone has a. I was about to log in today, but then I was like, oh, I need a code. So if anyone has a code,
you don't need. Oh, you do. Yeah, it's what did they write?
is it
I
just a
forgot.
general code that everyone uses?
Yeah, TGC, I think. But ask an abstract and they'll give you a code. Everybody used like there was a few that were circulating, like they were like guild codes or whatever. So the thing is, obviously the season only has 4 days left in it, so you're kind of late. And I don't know how long the downtime is going to be between seasons, but might as well just farm it a little bit and have fun and get used to the new mechanics, you know, and how it works. It takes time, that game, but it's a lot of fun. Like as long as you're not getting ganked by an army of PvP players every 2 seconds, you're feeling good about the game. So it's cool. I'm enjoying it a lot, especially these last couple of days. Now that I'm actually up and running and I have more time, I've been really enjoying the game, like farming and killing mobs and trying to level up my different skills. And it's very similar to RuneScape, but on a quicker level. Like you feel like everything goes so much faster because they had to make it fast, right? It's only a 2 week game right now, so a
Mhm.
2 week farm. So, but yeah, it's been fun. I mean, we're enjoying it in abstract. It's been cool.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get on it because this was like my entire like bullish plan, like vision for this game in the first place is that it was going to be more built out and more like RuneScape with all the skills and the PvP and stuff. And when it first only just had dueling, now that it has that, it's like I'm not even playing. It's like what the hell? I should probably be playing.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fun, and it's a double farm
Especially with
too. That's
everyone saying that
something.
it's fun.
It is, and what's cool about it is that it's a double farm. You're farming Cambria and you're farming abstract with it. So,
Yeah.
like I'm not even really paying attention to the coins I'll get because I'm actually having fun, which is good. It's very rare in crypto games, right? But you are doing a double farm, so there's that at the end. I'm sure, and from what I can tell, there's only a few thousand players. Okay, maybe 10 or 12. maybe more, but just all at the same time. I'm seeing sometimes 5,000 players logged in at once, and on multiple different worlds. So I feel like it might be a really decent airdrop, just because it feels like it's being a little bit underfarmed. Even though that sounds like a lot of players for a crypto game, I mean, I feel like you can climb the ranks pretty easily in this game. And even if you don't plan on going hard for this season, since there's only 4 days left, at least it'll give you a good foothold and know what to do for next season. Some of the mechanics might change, and I don't know how long the downtime is going to be between seasons, but probably not very long since the game's functional now. Um, but yeah, at least if you get used to the mechanics for a couple days and just it'll give you a good launch pad for the next season that's coming up.
So how much is it like spend? Like how much do you need to spend basically, or is it like
Nothing.
scale or?
You just buy the charter at the beginning to get started, the point oh 0.02. I haven't spent anything since then. You can do
Oh,
it multiple different ways. Either you become an investor in a way where you buy multiple charters and you get like a percentage of rewards back just by holding a charter, or you
mhm.
become like you join a guild or create a guild or whatever, and then get coins from then. There's like a bunch of different ways that you could actually take profit from this game. They Whether it be passive or by playing. So that's the good part about it, is that you don't really need to play it. If you wanted to like risk money and ETH and throw in ETH, you can do that. It's just I haven't done that. I just play the game because I have time to play. But
Okay.
or you can basically grind, and the deeper you go into the game, like I mean on the map itself, it becomes like, let's say, harder mode, where more like hardcore, where if you die you lose things. The further you go into the hardcore territories, the more rewards you can get, and then you can run back to town and turn in those rewards for points that lead to more airdrop or to more XP or to, you know what I mean. So the better artifacts that you get deeper into the game, the more rewards you'll get. But obviously, that's where the risk comes in, because then you're getting ganked from players that are looking to take your items. You have a lot of like danger, which makes it fun in a way. Yeah, it's annoying when you get killed and you have a bunch of good items, but at the same time, it makes it fun. It makes it very risk on, which is cool.
Yeah, I love that. That was always the fun thing about RuneScape, is like you could take more risk. And I don't know if you played. Did you ever play old school RuneScape?
I did play old school, but so long ago and not long enough to actually remember all the mechanics. I just remember it was very long to farm things when I played
Yeah.
the original.
Well, that was always the fun part, was the wilderness, because the wilderness is like an area you go into, and like that, there's much like really good rewards and stuff in there, but that's where you could get killed by other players. So it's like the high
True.
risk, high reward factor of it was the super enticing. So that's cool that they're doing that similar here.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. If you have time to play, it's fun. You'll
Yeah.
enjoy it. Yeah, the first few days I didn't take it seriously enough because like I said, I didn't remember really RuneScape, and I felt a little lost. But then there's a few guides that were circulating in MVHQ, and they really helped me. Like they put me on the right path to farming the right stuff. Because just like with kind of like with RuneScape, especially back then, you had no guides for RuneScape when I was playing, so you had to kind of like figure out yourself everything. The tooltips didn't have much info on them. It was like really like a raw game when it first came out when I played. So I kind of had that feeling with Cambria a bit, but then I realized they actually have docs and things to help you out, so it was good. And everybody in MVHU is so
Right.
helpful all the time that I got rolling real fast.
Are the guides you're talking about, or those the Camry official ones? I see a
There's the
couple.
official one there, and then there's one I could pull it up. Oh wait, is that the one Tarek linked? I think so. Yeah, the Canva one. Pretty sure that's the one. Let me see. I'll pull it up right now. Yeah, the Canva one is like the most straightforward one you can. It's just really an images like pointing to other images, and it's a really easy and quick guide to tell you what to farm at what level and how to move ahead. If you take a few minutes just to read through that when you have time, then you'll kind of understand what you need to do.
Okay, cool.
I'll actually pin it. I don't know if anybody did already. Yeah, okay, I pinned it. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me on abstract. Well, actually, we could talk about abstract for a long time, but I'm just doing the same old stuff. Gigaverse is always expanding and always finding like he's the Dith is developing Gigaverse real fast. So I'm every day I'm still doing my farm there. I'm still racing my roaches and getting my XP really, because I feel like XP is gonna be worth it on abstract. Even though right now a lot of people are farming it, I've just been having a really good time farming all this, so I just keep doing it, finding new things to do. That's all you can do,
Yeah,
really. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it for me.
Um, cool. Yeah. Just shout out Ethos again. I mean, Ethos, I still think is a good farm. They've been in the news. Like, I feel like they're not the news, but like the crypto Twitter headlines a couple times. I feel like that's kind of what they're good at. Is like when something happens like controversial, people will start throwing out a bunch of negative reviews, or like it's like people did a slash on Jesse
Yes, I was going to mention that.
on Ethos, and like that kind of blew up. Where people came in and like defended him, like Thread Guy and a couple others like came in and like vouched for him, and the slash failed um, on him. So I still think that's a good farm. I mean, obviously, it's like super easy. You just do the streak every day, and then do some reviews. You can vouch some ETH, which is basically staking ETH for other people as well, if you want. And yeah, it just I'm still pretty bullish on it. I think it's like actually solved a use case, and they do a pretty good job of designing it so far. So have to shout out Ethos.
That was big this week. We finally got to see, and I'm sure Serp was really happy about this, but we finally got to see the slash in action, and not just like, okay, slashing bad actors. Someone actually tried to slash somebody with a high stature in the space, and
Yeah.
we got to see the mechanics in play, which was cool because now we got to see people defend Jesse, and you know what I mean. We saw obviously the guy had a really good argument for wanting to slash, but the counter arguments were so much better. So people, they it was fun to see that whole mechanic. I was curious to see how that would go, and I think it worked really well.
Yeah. So yeah, so I think that's a good farm. What else did I have? Didn't really have anything else.
Me neither.
Um,
Yeah, pretty dry today, but at least we got to talk about all that.
yeah, got to the 15-minute mark. Anyone in the crowd? Anyone have anything they wanted to bring up? Something we missed?
I'm gonna take my hat off one more time to the Fantasy Top guys. I love their show every week. I know I say it every week, but my God, is that a good show? And they have such good alpha there. So if you're in Fantasy Top and you're not listening to our show every week, man, you're missing out. Really incredible stuff every week.
Oh, I was gonna make that comparison. I feel like um, the way Cambria has developed like reminds me a lot of Fantasy Top, where Fantasy Top had like this big run early on where it got a ton of attention, and then it kind of like attention kind of dwindled. But there's a core group of people who stuck with it and still really liked the product and believed and just kept playing and playing. And it's grown more and more since then. Like um, continue to have its spot as like a nice farm that people enjoy and like built this community. And I feel like Cambria is pretty similar. Where Cambria got a lot of attention like in Blast early days as well. I guess around the same time as Fantasy Top, right?
Yeah.
Where they got a bunch of gold, people were dueling and stuff. And then it kind of fell off after that for a while, but they kept building, and now they have a more expanded game, and they built like this player base of people who stuck around, and now they're expanding more and more. Now they're getting hundred thousands of daily users, thousands of like concurrent users at the same time. So it's cool to see. They kind of just remind me of each other, and I feel like that those type of games, like those type of projects, are the ones you want to be in. Where maybe they had a lot of tension running up, and they've still been building even when there's a lull period. There's still like that community there um, that's stuck around and like wants to because they believe in the team, they believe in the project, they like it. They're having fun. I feel like those are the type of things you want to kind of invest your time and resources in crypto.
Yeah, interesting comparison. I like that. It really does come down to community, but also the dev work and the team can't be understated. It's just been nice to see that even in Cambria, even if you have downtimes, they only last a few minutes. They've done a really good job managing, I think, anyway. Maybe others that play it every day have a different view on it, but um, I feel like they did a decent job of managing such a short season and not having long downtimes because obviously you don't have much time to farm, so they want to keep the game up as much as possible. So I like the approach that they took. I like the game itself. And obviously, yeah, like I said, a lot of people find it annoying that they're getting ganked all the time, and it feels like they're kind of making the game a little bit too much too powerful towards the PvP where five people run together and attack you and take all your stuff. But in the end, I think that dev team itself made a really good job, and this is a fun game, and they're always on top of it. So, yeah, it's cool, and I think Fantasy Top's the same, right? Where they always found ways to stay relevant and find the good balancing in the game, and to make sure people aren't getting screwed if they buy a card and then the guy just stops tweeting. So there's a lot of things that come into play on the back end, and we have a business and we work in crypto every day, so we know how hard it is to make things happen every single day. So my hat goes off to them. They've done excellent work, even though sometimes it can get buggy. At least they're on top of it right away.
Yep.
That's it for me, dog.
Yeah, it's it for me too. We're almost at the hour mark anyway, so we filled it up even on Easter.
Look at that.
Stuff to talk about. Even a slower market. Good to see. Prices doing well. Stock market is actually dumping today, so it's
We
good to see
decoupled.
Bitcoin.
We've decoupled.
Yeah. Hopefully it manages here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, man. I think we can probably wrap it up here then. If there's nothing else.
Sure, let's do it. Enjoy the playoffs, everybody. Hockey and basketball and all that. It should be fun. Should be a fun month. Enjoy your playoff games, and we'll see you guys in chat. Take care.
Yes, sir. Later, y'all. Thanks for coming.